In the dimly lit basement of an old mansion, Dr. Jonathan Harlow toiled away in secrecy, surrounded by the eerie glow of computer screens and the hum of machines. Driven by grief and desperation, he had dedicated his life to a forbidden experiment, cloning his family. It had been 2 years since the tragic plane crash that claimed the lives of his wife, Emily, and their 2 children, Lily and Thomas. Unable to accept their deaths, Dr. Harlow had sought solace in the realm of the unknown. Late one stormy night, as lightning streaked across the sky and thunder rumbled ominously, Dr. Harlow activated the cloning chamber. The room filled with a strange, otherworldly energy as the machines whirred to life. In a matter of hours, the scientist's family was reborn, identical in every way to the ones he had lost. At first, Dr. Harlow reveled in the joy of being reunited with his loved ones. The cloned family members showed no signs of trauma or memory loss, behaving exactly as if they had never left. The mansion echoed with laughter and the warmth of a family restored. Yet, in the depths of his scientific mind, a lingering unease festered. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had trespassed into territory reserved for the divine. As days turned into weeks, the once idyllic atmosphere began to unravel. Strange occurrences became increasingly frequent. Shadows danced in the corners of rooms, and whispers echoed through the halls when no one was present. Dr. Harlow's cloned family members displayed an unsettling synchronicity, moving as one entity with an eerie precision that sent shivers down his spine. Late one night, unable to ignore the mounting dread, Dr. Harlow ventured into the basement to inspect the cloning chamber. To his horror, he discovered that the experiment had not only replicated the physical forms of his family but had also cloned their souls. The bond between the living and the cloned became a twisted, nightmarish echo of the real world. The once comforting laughter now carried an unnatural cadence, and the smiles of the cloned family members seemed frozen in a perpetual state of mockery. Dr. Harlow realized that in playing God, he had disrupted the balance between life and death, unleashing forces beyond his control. Desperation clawed at him as he sought a way to undo the irreversible. Yet, every attempt to dismantle the cloning chamber proved futile, as if the mansion itself resisted any interference with its newfound residents. As the days passed, the atmosphere grew heavier, and the air seemed charged with malevolence. One by one, the cloned family members began to succumb to an insidious decay. Their once vibrant eyes turned hollow, and their laughter became distorted, echoing through the mansion like the tortured wails of the damned. Dr. Harlow, tormented by guilt and terror, realized that he had unleashed a curse that defied the laws of nature. In the end, the mansion stood as a haunting testament to the consequences of tampering with the balance between life and death. Dr. Harlow, consumed by the darkness he had unleashed, wandered the halls in perpetual agony, haunted by the anguished cries of his cloned family. The mansion became a mausoleum of his own making, a twisted monument to the forbidden knowledge that had cost him everything. The scientist, once driven by grief, was now ensnared in a nightmare of his own creation, forever tormented by the echoes of his ill-fated experiment. The mansion, now a place of unspeakable horrors, stood as a foreboding structure at the edge of town. Locals whispered of strange occurrences and eerie lights emanating from its windows, warning others to steer clear of the cursed abode. But curiosity, as it often does, lured the brave and the foolish alike to investigate the truth behind the haunting tales. One stormy night, a group of daring souls entered the mansion, drawn by the mystery that surrounded it. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, they could feel the oppressive weight of the past pressing down on them. The air itself seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if the mansion held a grudge against any who dared to disturb its unholy secret. As the group explored the mansion's shadowy corridors, they were met with ghostly whispers and flickering lights. The air grew colder with each step, and the walls seemed to close in, trapping them in a labyrinth of despair. Unbeknownst to the intruders, the tortured souls of Dr. Harlow's cloned family lingered in the shadows, their spectral forms manifesting as phantoms that sought revenge for the disturbance of their eternal torment. One by one, the members of the group fell victim to the vengeful spirits. Ghostly apparitions materialized before them, wearing the twisted faces of Dr. Harlow's cloned family. The air resonated with the anguished cries of the deceased, and the once bold intruders found themselves paralyzed by fear. In a room at the heart of the mansion, the group stumbled upon the cloning chamber, its ominous glow casting long shadows on the walls. The ethereal voices of the cloned family members echoed through the chamber, recounting their tragic tale and accusing the living of trespassing into realms they could not comprehend. As the last surviving intruder, paralyzed with terror, gazed upon the cloning chamber, the spirits converged into a nightmarish amalgamation, an entity forged from the suffering and rage of the cloned family. With a blood-curdling scream, the entity reached out, its ghostly tendrils enveloping the intruder, absorbing them into the cursed tapestry of the mansion's haunted history. From that night forward, the mansion became a cursed relic, forever bound to the tormented souls of Dr. Harlow's cloned family and the ill-fated intruders who had dared to unlock its forbidden secrets. The once bustling town now avoided the mansion like a plague, leaving it to stand as a macabre monument to the consequences of playing God, a chilling reminder that some boundaries should never be crossed. Over the years, the mansion became a foreboding legend, whispered about only in hushed tones among the locals. Its halls echoed with the tormented wails of the past, and the flickering lights served as a haunting beacon, warning any who approached. The town itself seemed to shun the cursed structure, its streets growing desolate as the mansion cast a shadow over the once thriving community. The story of Dr. Harlow's ill-fated experiment spread far and wide, becoming a cautionary tale passed down through generations. Those who did hear the chilling account dared not investigate the mansion, for the consequences of crossing its threshold were too ghastly to contemplate. As time marched on, the mansion stood as a grim monument to the consequences of playing with the forces of creation. Nature, outraged by the disturbance of its balance, seemed to have claimed the mansion as its own, weaving the roots of ancient trees through its crumbling walls and vines that strangled its once grand facade. Occasionally, on stormy nights, locals claimed to hear the distant echoes of anguished cries carried by the wind. Some even swore they saw ethereal figures moving behind the shattered windows, their ghostly forms haunting the mansion like shadows trapped in perpetual agony. The town, now a mere shell of its former self, bore the scars of a past best left forgotten. The mansion's chilling tale served as a grim reminder that some boundaries were not meant to be crossed, that the line between life and death was sacrosanct. As for Dr. Harlow, his fate remained unknown. Some speculated that his tormented spirit wandered the halls of the mansion, forever seeking redemption for the unspeakable sins he had committed. Others believed he had become one with the dark forces he had unleashed, forever lost in the twisted tapestry of his own creation. The mansion, a relic of forbidden knowledge and a testament to the consequences of playing God, stood as a solitary sentinel at the edge of town, a chilling reminder that some secrets were better left buried, and that the pursuit of immortality often led to a fate far worse than death.
Like, subscribe, and click on notifications that allow you to stay up to date with the news and not miss the video from the channel, where there will be many more horror stories.